All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. It is indeed 9 minutes with me here on IGTV, Facebook, and on YouTube. Be sure you do hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports, and of course on Instagram, Mike L Sports 1979. A pretty wet one up along the East Coast today, so try to stay dry. It's a tough one out there. I just got done driving a little bit myself. This video here is brought to you by our great friends at Rosie's Corner. If you are in and around Central New York, make sure you get to Rosie's for themed food days like today and tomorrow with their fish, with the mac and cheese, or you can put it with the fries and coleslaw. You can also get other themed food days like Meatloaf Monday. They've got the unbelievable Turkey Slop Tuesday and Chicken and Biscuits Wednesday. Pizza, wings, pasta, hot and cold subs, themed food available on Grubhub, and gift cards are available for you as well this upcoming holiday season. We are also supported by Bryant and Stratton College, Empower Federal Credit Union, and our terrific friends at Timberbanks Golf Club. Go ahead and log on to timberbanks.com and find out all about 2020 memberships. Also, a big tip of the cap to your realtor, Angela Pudney, part of the Howard Hanna Group. She is selling and purchasing houses for you as your real estate agent under the Howard Hanna umbrella. Make sure you go like her on Facebook. Check out all of her successes as well. Angela Pudney of Howard Hanna Real Estate Group is the official realtor of the NL Sports Platter. Well, the wild, wacky World Series is over, and the Washington Nationals are the champs. What an unbelievable run for this baseball team, and there's a lot to digest here. There's a lot to unpack. The first thing that I want to unpack, obviously, is that this was such a cool experience for me to watch this team play because I covered a lot of these guys when they were Syracuse Chiefs. Remember, Juan Soto never played for the Syracuse Chiefs. He jumped right from AA to AAA. But hey, 45 minutes from where I'm sitting right now, he was actually in Auburn Doubleday as well, which is hard to believe in the Penn League, and then shot up through the ranks AA, and then, of course, the jump to the Washington Nationals. But you take a look at Joe Ross, who had a major impact in the rotation at one point or another. Michael Taylor had a major impact in the outfield at one point or another because of injuries. You take a look at a guy like Trey Turner, the important leadoff guy who the Nationals got back from injury, who was absolutely sensational. Then you look at Victor Robles, who was an absolute monster in the field, is a five-tool player, could still improve a little bit on his hitting. But man, really, really good player, a lot of potential, super young. And obviously the king of the postseason, Steven Strasburg. My goodness, 5-0 in this postseason. This guy achieved something that nobody has going 5-0, had an ERA just under 1.50, wins World Series MVP, and he was spectacular in Game 6 in order to get the Nats to a Game 7. We backtrack a little bit as well to 19-31. Remember that record on May 23rd? Yeah, they were in Marlin, Oriole, Tiger territory. And Davey Martinez, the manager inside that clubhouse, just basically said, look, let's go 1-0 today. Let's go 1-0 today. Let's go 1-0 today. And he did that week after week after week. All of a sudden, the Nationals start to get healthy. They start to push away the noise. They start to keep people out of their four corners. Remember, when they were 19-31, and even at the trade deadline, people were screaming for them to trade Mad Max Scherzer, a guy who was on a $210 million contract. Oh, trade him to the Yankees, trade him somewhere, trade him anywhere, get a boatload back for him. We're in total redo job here. We're in total rebuild mode here with the Washington Nationals. Pundits said it. People working in the Washington market said it. People on the national stage said it. Fans were screaming about it. I was even pondering what a Max Scherzer could get you in return, and that team said, screw that. We're going to go and try to win baseball games to get back in this thing, and sure enough, they did just that. 19-31 turns into a wild card berth. They're down, and this is where the history becomes absolutely ridiculous. The Washington Nationals are down 2 runs in the 8th inning in the wild card game to the Brewers. They come back and win. They are down to the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLDS. They come back and win. They're down to the Dodgers as well in the NLCS. And they come back and win against Clayton Kershaw in the 8th inning, down 2 runs, elimination game. They come back and win. And then they win Game 6 in an elimination game against the Houston Astros and win Game 7 with Max Scherzer on the mound. Then they go to Patrick Corbin, CNY native, more on him in a minute. And then they close it with Hudson, obviously, to get the first World Championship in franchise history. This is the first team to win all 4 road games in a 7-game series in the history of professional sports. This is also the only team in baseball history to win 5 straight elimination games in that fashion. Of course, they did it multiple runs, multiple times. Just an unbelievable story, history being made. And the Houston Astros were so dominant. There were only, I believe, 4 teams that won as many games at home, more than the Astros did in the history of baseball. There's 4 of them, I believe, that won more games than Houston did at home. And Houston was a juggernaut. Houston never lost 4 games in a row at home all year this year. And this year in the postseason, we saw them lose in the World Series 4 straight games. It's mind-boggling what this Nationals team did. And you have to credit the people upstairs. You have to credit Mike Rizzo, the general manager, who I've crushed a few times for a lot of his deals. I crushed him for the Adam Eaton deal. I thought at the time they had to get more for Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez. Their 2 top pitching prospects traded for Adam Eaton, a guy who had a 4.5 WAR. He got hurt, tore his ACL early, but the Nationals, again, stayed the course. This is a team that can really teach people a lot about just fighting and getting up off the mat, and don't listen to the outside noise. We know what we can do. We believe in ourselves. This is going to be a major opportunity for people to kind of copy a blueprint of not just analytics and not just throwing in the towel and listening to other people, trading, tanking, whatever the case may be. The Washington Nationals stayed the course. They believed in themselves one day to the next to the next. Now, granted, 19-31 is still only 50 games of a baseball season. You still have 62 more games to go. So I get that, 112 games to go. Where's my math at there? 112 games to go on top of the 50, to right the ship, and right the ship they did. They kept everybody. They stayed the course. They waited for everybody to get healthy. They knew that they had Juan Soto. They knew that they had Victor Robles. They knew that Ryan Zimmerman had something left in the tank. They knew that they had the triple-headed monster in the rotation of Scherzer, Strasburg, and Patrick Corbin, and they just kept on winning, and boom, here we are today on Halloween. We wake up, and the Washington Nationals are the champions of baseball. Patrick Corbin, speaking of him, unbelievable story. The power lefty signs an $140 million 6-year deal in the offseason. He used the Nats, the Phillies, and the Yankees as sort of the triangle. He used the Yankees to up the price, up the years. Voila, he ends up in Washington. Super guy, and also zero ego with this guy. He went to Washington. He could have been an ace in a lot of other spots. Could have been an ace in Philadelphia. And frankly, the way the Yankee pitching staff this year was, he could have been the ace in New York as well. Nope, he went to Washington because that was the fit. That was where he got the years and the money, and he wanted to build a home with his wife and all the rest. He fits right in there. It's a 3rd guy in the rotation behind Scherzer, Hall of Famer, and Strasburg, who ends up winning the World Series MVP. Pat Corbin, all he did was, he's the winning pitcher on record in Game 7. He'll go down in history for that as well. Super happy for him here in the 315 area. Amazing stuff there. But the Nationals just stayed the course. Mike Rizzo stayed the course as general manager. You had, from the beginning of the year, they didn't want to listen to anybody. Oh, you should have signed Bryce Harper. Should have given him the extra $20 million. Mike Rizzo knew what he had. He knew that Juan Soto and Victor Robles could make up for that. He knew what a super band Anthony Rendon is. Didn't it seem like Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto, they just started all of these rallies when the Nats were down? It was Rendon and Soto, Rendon and Soto, Rendon and Soto. And oh, by the way, the Nationals got away with having a pretty shitty bullpen for the majority of the year as well this year. If you think about the analytical approach with baseball, Washington doesn't really go and swim in those waters as much as Houston, Tampa, the Yankees, a lot of these other teams. They use a somewhat of an analytical approach, but they also go with a very strict scouting program and old school baseball feeling. They knew that their bullpen wasn't going to be a problem down the line because they had guys who could go 7 innings. Corbin, Strasburg, and Scherzer from 3-2 to 1. This is an unbelievable story for the Nats. The first World Series for this team, and of course the first in a very long time in Washington, D.C. You'd have to go all the way back to the Washington Senators when a guy by the name of Walter Johnson threw for him. I believe that was 1924. Great story. Congrats to the Nats. Congrats to Mike Rizzo. Congrats to Davey Martinez. Now we wait and see what happens with Steven Strasburg. Does he opt out? Anthony Rendon, I'd give a blank check to if I'm the Washington Nationals. We continue to watch Patrick Corbin. We continue to watch Scherzer, and we continue to watch the Phenom and Juan Soto. Washington, D.C., you are the baseball champions of the country, and very well deserved. Congrats to the Washington Nationals. Mike Lindsley here with you. This video brought to you by Empower Federal Credit Union, Timberbanks Golf Club, and the Wolfenden Law Firm. As I always tell you, enjoy the game.